All right, here I am. I know you guys missed my video, so I'm back. We're going to look at two methods for solving systems algebraically. They are substitution and elimination. Now, when you're given a system, sometimes you can look at it and you can pick a method that works best for that system, and sometimes you can't. But let's just take a look here at number one. It says solve the system of equations by substitution. So when you're solving by substitution, the first thing you need to do is you need to solve one of these equations for a variable. Well, since this is almost by itself, I'm going to go ahead and solve this first equation for x. Okay, so I'm going to cancel out the 2y by adding it. Okay, and so we end up with x equals 5 plus 2y. Remember, you cannot combine those because they are not like terms. Okay? All right, so now we're going to do the substitution. That's the reason why this is called the substitution method. We're going to go ahead and put 5 plus 2y into the other equation for x. Why did I do that? Because 5 plus 2y is the same as x. They're the same. So anytime I see an x, I can put 5 plus 2y there. And so I see an x here, so I put it in here. Always make sure you put it in the other equation. Okay, and then we will go ahead and solve this, distribute the 4, combine the like terms, and in this case we're going to solve for y. So quick review, undo adding and subtracting first. Undo multiplying with division. So we know that our y coordinate is -1. Next thing, we want to find the x coordinate. So since we know that y equals -1, then we can plug -1 in everywhere we see a y. So x equals 2 times -1, and we get 3. And there's our solution. Okay, let's take a look at elimination method. Now, with elimination method, your two equations or more have to be in standard form. Standard form. Have to be. Remember standard form, ax plus by equals c. And that's what we got here. Ax plus by equals c. C being our constant. Okay, so with elimination, what we want to do is we want to either add the equations together or subtract them to eliminate a variable. Well, 12 plus 3 is 15. That doesn't eliminate the variable. Subtracting, no. So we have to change it a little bit. We want to make the numbers the same. Okay, so let's say I want to eliminate the x. Then I would multiply this equation by 4, because 4 times 3 is 12. And then I would be able to subtract them and make it go away. Or I could get rid of the y. So I would multiply the equation by 2. 2 times 4 is 8, so 8 minus 8 would give us 0. So it doesn't really matter in this case which one you decide to get rid of. I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of my x term. I'm going to multiply through by 4, the whole thing, and we're going to get 12x plus 16y equals 8. Okay? Don't forget to multiply everything by 4. Okay? So we're done with that. We've changed it. So now we're going to subtract 12x minus 12x, eliminated. That's why it's called the elimination method. And we have 8 minus 16. And we have negative 8 minus 8. And we're just solving for y. And we have part of our solution. Okay, now to find x. Not as easy as substitution. We're going to plug it back into this equation, or this equation, or this equation. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in the first one, just because that's what I decided. 12x plus 8 times y equals 2 equals negative 8. Solving for x. And we end up with, let's see, negative 8 minus 16 divided by 12, negative 2. Now, it says choose an appropriate method and solve. I always look, first of all, are they in standard form? If they're in standard form, I always like to choose the elimination method. Okay? Probably the most unpopular method is the substitution method. There's a little bit more algebra involved, just a little bit more. But let's go ahead and let's see what else we got here. I think because I see some here that are really set up good for elimination, we'll save elimination for this one. And we'll just go ahead and use substitution for this one. And the reason being is because I see y almost all by itself. So it would be very easy to solve this for y. All I have to do is get rid of the 6x. So we're going to get rid of it. Okay. And let's see. We get y equals, and yes, it doesn't really matter, but I like to put the x term first. It's a good habit to be in. Good habit to be in. So we know that y equals that. So that means everywhere I see a y, I can put in that expression. So going to my next equation, we got 4x minus 3. Oh, there's a y. Plug it in. And distribute. Combine like terms. Add the 15. Let's see, negative 7 plus 15 is 8. So, let's see what we got now. We're going to have x equals, and we're dividing both sides by 22. Sometimes I get in a hurry, and I second guess myself. Like, oh, I think we all second guess ourselves when we get decimals for answers. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with decimals, but I completely understand. I'd go back and check my work too and make sure I didn't make any mistakes, because we're all human, right? Now, so look at this. It's actually 0.36 repeating. So when I give the answer like this, I'm giving an approximate answer. Okay. If I wanted an exact answer, I'd reduce my fraction. Let's see, 2 goes into 8 4 times, 2 goes into 22 11 times. If I want an exact answer, I'd leave it as a fraction. Okay, now let's go ahead and find y. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in my x into, I think I'll choose the first. So 6 times 0.36 plus y equals negative 5. Solving for y, get 2.16 plus y, subtract the 2.16, we get, let's see, -5 minus 2.16. I knew that. I knew that. Sometimes we get so dependent on the calculator. -5 minus 2.16. Easy one. All right. Okay. Now, standard form. All we're going to do is set this up for elimination. I'm going to go ahead and make the numbers the same. I really, you know, you could use substitution here, but there's a lot of work you'd have to do. You'd have to cancel out the x term, then divide everything by 4. Do notice that these numbers are all divisible by 4. So I just want you to know that this is okay. This is called simplifying an equation. This equation and this equation are the same. This is a simplified version of this. If you were to graph this line and you were to graph this line, you would get the same line. Now, I factored out a 4 out of all 3 terms, and this is what I got. Okay. Now, that does make it easier, okay, to solve this using elimination. Does make it easier. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and multiply. Let's get rid of the y this time. I'm going to go ahead and multiply this equation by 3. Okay, so 3x plus 3y equals -3. Okay, to cancel out my 3y's, I'm going to subtract. Sometimes you need to add the 2 equations together. You need to decide. So that's gone. Subtracting, subtracting, subtracting. All right, moving on. You can, finish. I want you to finish this. Get me the point. Okay. Let's look at number 5. Again, the first equation is divisible by 3. Do you see it? 3 goes into all these numbers. So this is going to really help you if you can see that. So if I simplify, reduce, divide this fraction by this equation by 3, 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 3 goes into 3 1 time. Now we got a weird situation happening here. And yes, I am happy. He 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 he. Okay, sorry, that was for one of my students. She says, I can't tell if you're happy or sad when you're doing your videos. Now, continuing on. So let's say I want to cancel out my x. Subtract. So 3 minus 3, boom. 4 minus, oh boy. 4 minus, oh boy. Yeah, look at here. That happens sometimes. That leaves us with 0, -2 minus 1, -3. Okay, this means, and it's not true, it means no solution. No solution. No solution. If you ever get an answer where these numbers are the same, i.e. 2 equals 2, -1 equals -1, then you would have an infinite number of solutions. These are the oddballs, okay? The variables cancel, both of them, and you're left with just numbers. False statement, no solution. True statement, infinitely many solutions. Yay, we got it.